Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of Tomii Healing, the one show, the only show to talk about alternatives to traditional Western medicine, other thoughts and ideas, and how maybe your body can help heal itself with the man who, well, you've invested your whole life in this, Dr. Leiter Chen. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
We know that there are other theories of the world of how the body works, or at least most of us do. There's Indian Ayurvedic science. There is traditional healing methods in most cultures around the world. Been around for thousands of years. You're from China, so you're a big believer in Chinese traditional medicine, right?
Yeah.
And in that system, that's the core of it is this idea that your body has energy flowing within it. There's a whole map of these meridians that your body, the energy flows through your body, right?
Yes. Meridian energy.
Now, unfortunately, Western scientists get all screwed up because they're like, well, where is this energy? What is it? How do I see it? How do I measure it? How do I find it? You know, we know there's a little bit of electricity in our body. You can touch something and you can feel that, or they can measure some sort of little flow in it. You started life, Dr. Chen, as I recall the conversation, a skeptic. You're from China. You live in China, right? And you had terrible, was it diabetes?
Diabetes type 2.
And so you're a scientist. At that time you were running a firm that did what? You did sensor technology?
Software.
Yeah.
Software developer, translation software.
But you also had something to do with sensors.
Sensor, yes. Remote sensing.
Remote sensing.
Yeah.
So you're a scientist. You've been trained. You're in China, but you've been trained in Western ways. This is a science. Let's talk about things I can show and prove and demonstrate, not traditional healing. This might be voodoo. It might be anything here. And you weren't getting anywhere. You were going to hospitals, and they weren't helping you. Doctors just wanted to give you more and more pills for your diabetes, right?
Yes, side effect very seriously.
And it got to the point you couldn't work.
Yeah, doesn't work. Yeah.
And so somebody said, you're in China. Why don't you try this Chinese thing? And you kind of went, I don't know. This is witchcraft. This is just, acupuncture, acupressure, meridians. I can't measure them and all this stuff here. But you went and started exploring it, and you got relief. It helped you dramatically.
Yes.
Which changed your life.
Yes.
Much to your wife's dismay and everybody else's dismay. You gave up this thriving other business, and you went out and started studying this traditional Chinese healing method, right?
Yes.
Now, here's where the story gets interesting for me. You're still a scientist. You're still trained in Western sensor technology. When did you decide, I'm going to see if I can sense this chi, this mysterious energy, and measure it, and try and figure out just where the heck it's blocked? How did that happen? Why would you even think of measuring this in a scientific? For thousands of years they don't measure it. You go in, you say my back hurts, they stick pins in your back, or they massage in your back, they try and break up the blockage and get the chi flowing, or they look at your tongue and they try and guess. There's all these anecdotal ways that traditional Chinese healers work. Nobody has a sensor. Why did you decide to build a sensor to test this and find it?
Yeah, we measure the energy flow through the little bit very little changes on the current your point.
So there's a current flowing through there.
Yes.
I think your laptop went out there again.
Yeah.
But it's very slight. But you said, I'm going to not only measure this current, now I'm going to try and figure out what those measurements mean. And how long did it take you to develop this technology? You hold it up there for this. It's a simple little, I call it a wand. It's a simple little sensor, but you put it on different meridians in your body, pressure points. We all kind of familiar with this Chinese idea. You got nausea, you hit some pressure point in your wrist, and that somehow, or between your forehead if you've got anxiety or some sort, you relieve. We sort of know about this stuff anecdotally, and we sort of believe in it, but you went out to scientifically measure it. That's something different. So how long did it take you to do it?
Takes more than 10 years.
Yeah. 10 years.
Yeah.
Trial and error. How do I measure this little bit of energy, and how do I correlate it to what you're saying are blockages of this energy in the body?
We can measure 12 meridian.
Now, it's hard to see in this screen, but you're putting it on your wrist, basically.
Yes, that's the lung meridian.
And you're taking the traditional breakdown of traditional Chinese medicine, where they have a whole system.
Meridian.
How many meridians are there in the Chinese system?
12 meridian.
12 meridians. And these are, and what's crazy about it is it might be from your leg to your heart. It might be from your wrist to your lung or something. It's not putting it right where it is. There is you call it like a highway. There's a pathway. There's a connection between these different pressure points in your body. And your goal is to find this roadmap and figure out where the blockage is of the energy flowing
Yes,
through
the
your body.
meridian is connection with your hand, your leg, with your internal organ, like your heart, your liver, your spleen, your kidney. Anything happen inside your body will show on your hand and your feet. Changes the energy.
You know, that sounds pretty wild to most of us living here, that my hand can tell me what my heart is doing. My foot can tell me what my lung is doing. But you're saying there's a connection between this, there's a system in your body doing this.
Yeah.
Why has Chinese traditional medicine stayed outside of science? Why? I guess because it's worked for thousands of years. They don't see the necessity to measure this, to prove it, to monitor it. So too many people in the West, too many doctors in modern medicine go, I don't know, that just sounds like a lot of baloney. That doesn't sound real. Why has Chinese traditional medicine not been more aggressive in trying to measure and monitor what they see as a whole different system in our body here, an energy system?
Yeah, this is the integrated system. You need to know the sensor technology. And also software and all this. You need to learn the traditional Chinese medicine, the meridian energy flow is the high combination integrative.
And I think you said the other key word. We're seeing these integrative centers pop up. There's one here at UCI, I believe. There's one at UCLA. You've talked to Dr.
Kiki Hui.
Tiki Wee.
Yeah.
He runs that. He's actually on staff. He teaches at UCLA's medical school, but he runs this integrative center because he really thinks there is more research that needs to be done between traditional healing methods like traditional Chinese medicine and science, a Western scientific approach to it. So he and others are trying to pioneer, which you've been working on the same thing for 10 years, some way to measure this, to integrate the two practices, bring them together, right?
Yes.
Okay. You say this so casually. 10 years of your life you spent developing it. Hold it up. It just looks like to me like a little magic wand. What happens? You're measuring the slight changes in what? The energy within my body or somebody's body here?
Yes, energy.
And so you touch how many different meridians, how many different pressure points in the body do you apply that wand to?
24 points, 12 meridian.
Okay.
Yeah.
But because full disclosure, I've been treated by you. We'll talk about this. It's amazing. I don't know how it works or why it works. I think people just look at it like a magic wand and you wave it around. But the idea is not to guess. First, you have to accept that there's energy flowing through your body through these meridians. If you accept that, then you accept the basic premise of Chinese medicine that if those get blocked, that's why bad things happen. Or if you unblock them, good things can happen. Your body can help heal itself, right?
Yes.
This energy can use to heal. The body has magic healing powers of itself through this energy. You aren't guessing. Most traditional Chinese healers are kind of guessing. People say, my back hurts, so they start there, or they look somewhere else. It might be something else altogether that's wrong with them. That might just be the symptom, the place it pops up, right? Yeah. So you're trying to go and actually, you've built this whole software, you're racing through it here. I can't really read it on the screen. Read some of those things on the left side here. You're measuring, you're trying to take a look at and come up with an actual report on somebody's energy within their body.
Yeah, after the measurement, we're coming out of 5 histogram. The first histogram show the meridian energy. The minimum is like 25, but this
is what we're traditionally
15.
called qi or yin and yang.
Yeah, and also show the yin and yang, if balanced or not balanced.
Which is the upper part of your body, or the lower part of your body, the left part of your body, the right part of your body.
Left, right, and your cyclogram, the energy flow, and your stress index.
All of this, you've developed a software to touch the body, pick up the small electrical signal that's coming out, and then analyze it and break it down into all those different categories here.
Yes,
that's
like
pretty wild.
Let's show the digestion system weakness, and liver function, liver energy, a little bit of sub-health, and the endocrine system sub-health showed all this information.
All this from just monitoring the energy that's flowing through your body.
Yes, this one show that which meridian is blockage, like
And basically, it's hard to see in this video that we're showing, but you're basically getting some. You can see some of those are dark, some of those are light, some of them are way up towards the top, some are way to the bottom. You're measuring in a graphic way. You're showing me the information graphically. Wow, this one's off the chart, like that one on the right there, whatever that one is, that red one on the right
liver.
here, the liver. So somebody's liver is way to the back. Some of those others are more. They're closer to that main line. They're in balance. They're not out of balance here. That's hard for me to wrap my head around. How you spent 10 years of your life using your scientific background and your new belief in your traditional Chinese healing method, and you've brought sort of a scientific approach to traditional healing. That's what I see. So that the people who use this system don't have to guess. They can identify the blockages in your body quickly, and that's where they can start the work. Right?
Yes, more accurate.
And the work is, basically in Chinese medicine, I think there's 3 ways they do the work, maybe 4. One is certainly acupuncture, which now Western medicine has somehow begrudgingly sort of started to accept. You can actually get reimbursed for, usually it's for pain relief or something like that, but you can actually go to an acupuncturist and your insurance company will probably pay for it, and not pay a lot, but they treat it more like a massage and sort of a pain therapy kind of thing. But they're sticking pins in to do what? Those pins are to redirect the energy, and hopefully
balance the energy.
Get it flowing.
Yeah.
You chose a different non-intrusive way, which is
Acupressure.
Acupressure. Talk about that. It's like a deep tissue massage. Just like a deep tissue massage helps you break up the knots in your back. You get those knots of tension. Maybe it cuts off your oxygen, your blood. You're saying your energy. It's stopping it from flowing too. And boy, I've had some of these. You start zeroing in on these things. Oh, you got a problem, and all of a sudden you start touching some part of my body and my back or behind my leg. It hurts like heck. And I said, I didn't know it hurt there. That can't be very good. Why does it hurt there? Because you're saying there's a knot there that's a blockage.
Energy blockage point.
Yeah. And again, I went in very skeptically saying, I don't know if I believe any of this, but I believe it hurts, where you found a place that hurts really bad. And the more you massage it, the more I come back, the less it hurts. And all of a sudden I start to see some symptom relief. Maybe this isn't my problem. I'm not having the same digestive problem, the same pain problem, the same whatever problem here. You really believe that the energy, if it's flowing, can do incredible things.
Yes, that's the energy blockage and imbalance, the underlying cause of the chronic health issue.
These chronic issues
chronic
that
pain,
Western medicine fails in. My doctor fails in. Most hospitals fail in. You got a constant pain. You got a constant anxiety, you got a constant bad sleep, diabetes, fibromyalgia, things that they just can't. They give you a pill to cover it up or to mask it, but they can't address the underlying cause. They may not even know what the underlying cause. You're saying the body has an energy flowing through it that if you release it, unblock it, can help. We won't say heal, because that's a pretty bold claim, but it can certainly help. Your body can help heal itself.
Yes, help can achieve measurable and sustainable health result.
All right, so we have another man of a certain age like me here. I'm in my late 60s here. Brian, join us today here. Brian, what's your last name? I'm sorry, I forgot.
Markham.
You've got a British accent here, so
yes, I do.
By definition, you sound educated and sophisticated. And what did you do in life? What do you do in life?
Let's stay with that. I sound educated.
You sound educated, yeah. All English people with that upper class accent here that you have.
I'm from the East End of London, so that I'm not upper class.
All right. Well, it all sounds sophisticated and educated to us here.
So yeah, in life, I was. For most of my career, I've been a software engineer.
There you go.
And worked on many different systems in different parts of the world. and settled here in California 43 years ago. And so,
And unfortunately, you're willing to share some of this. You got the diagnosis. None of us wanted to hear cancer.
yeah, so I got the cancer diagnosis. Actually, the first one was in 2007. And I had surgery, and for 10 years I was doing really well. But then I started to get some pain in my groin, and well, cut a long story short, I finally got to the oncologist. They did scans, and they told me that, Brian, you have stage 4 cancer.
Oh, boy.
And but don't worry, because we've got some good drugs, and we can keep you alive for 2 to 5 years. And I go, well, that's very nice of you, but what's plan B?
Yeah. What after those 2 to 5 years? Oh,
Right,
you're done.
right.
Yeah.
And one of the things that was really motivating for me, I have 4 children and I had children later in life because I was traveling around so much around the world, and I wanted to see them all get married. I wanted grandchildren.
There you go.
And I just go, no, I don't.
I'm not
think
ready to leave
I'm
yet.
not ready for this one yet. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the first thing that when you're dealing with a serious degenerative disease, you have to be ultra motivated to say, nope, I'm not accepting this. Because what happens to a lot of cancer patients when they get that diagnosis, particularly a stage 4, I've spoken to people and they go, no, that's not possible that you have that diagnosis, because you should be curled up in a fetal position in your bed.
Right.
And quite frankly, for the most part, my quality of life for the last 6.5 years has been pretty darn
This
good.
is prostate cancer you had?
Prostate cancer,
Prostate
yeah.
cancer. All right. So now you went to your kids, and your kids do what? They have a pretty sophisticated job too here.
Yeah, so my eldest son was, he worked for a venture debt company up in Palo Alto.
A venture debt company.
Venture debt.
Kind that filled it. We're here at UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center, fancy place where they take technology and trying to turn it into something. It's mostly
Absolutely.
med tech and medicines. That's
Yep.
what they're trying to develop here on
They
campus.
they work with nothing but medical companies, trying to do. They
Drugs,
did a lot
startups,
with
medical
remote surgeries,
Yeah.
that type of thing. They work with drug companies.
And these are the guys trying to decide, are we going to back this one? Are we going to
Yeah.
take some?
Yeah, my son was the portfolio manager. He would look at these deals when they came in. He would research the efficacy, and they would make a report to the credit officer, and they would decide if they're going to invest in that technology. And
All of which sound equally far-fetched and wild. Somebody's got something they can do, that they can
Yeah.
do remote surgeries, or they can implant an eye, or they're talking
Absolutely.
about futuristic, wild things that not all of them are going to work out, but many of them are the change that's coming as we become bionic people here, as they can replace and repair so much of our bodies here.
yeah, I mean, and this is all robotic. I mean, a lot of what they did was the robotic surgery. They invested in that. And I mean, even 25 years ago, 50 years ago for sure, if you told someone that a surgeon in New York could perform surgery on a person in Australia, all real time, they just laugh at you.
Yeah.
And now it's, I mean, they do it all the time now.
So you go to your son. He's used to looking at sophisticated medical breakthroughs, and he says, "Dad, I'm not going to accept that there's just no chance. There's a pill that might keep you alive for a couple of years. After that, we're done. Let me look into some alternatives. Let me do what I do, my due diligence and research into other technologies, into other trials, and other ideas." And he comes up with what?
Well, I think it's important to say that at the time, when I got that second diagnosis of stage 4, I was a mess, to be quite honest. I mean, who wouldn't be? You've just been told
I cannot imagine. Right.
2 to 5 years to live. And he came down and stayed with me, went on doctor's appointments with me, and he finally started to work away on and I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "This is what I do, Dad. Just let me do it, and I'm going to come up with something."
Let me research and see if there's other
And
alternatives.
he did some research. That's what he did, and he came up with an alternative. We found a clinic in Irvine, and
what did they do? What is this?
they're all MDs. that you see there. They're just doctors that have chosen a different path.
Other than Western medicine.
Other than Western, but they do a lot of IVs, and they use a company in a Swiss company, actually, with a lab in Greece, where it's kind of interesting because they take a blood draw from you and your blood gets sent to Greece. It's state-of-the-art lab that they have there. And what comes back is a complete analysis of your personal cancer. It even tells you if you're going to do chemo, it tells you which chemo drugs would actually work on you, or work best, I should say.
But do they use, I've seen people talk about proteins or injections or other sorts of things that they think will help combat this other than the cancer, the giant sledgehammers they want to give you with these
Yeah, they do a lot of things, but
radiation and stuff. Yeah.
What they taught me was that there probably, if we really look at it, there's no one cure for a serious degenerative disease.
I'd say everybody would kind of accept that, doctors and non-doctors alike here. Right? It's a process. It's a package of something. If you're going to fight this, fight it with everything you can find here.
Western medicine, although we're starting to see changes and heading in that, like with Dr.
Kiki Wee, more
yeah.
integrative. They'll try. Well, they talk about mind health connections,
Right.
yoga and stuff,
Right.
positive thinking, imaging, all these things that people would laugh at. Diets, exercise, vitamins. I don't know, all sorts of injections, all sorts of other things.
Well,
that they're talking about.
that's exactly what the clinic got me doing, was so many different things. I actually went vegan at the time.
Right.
That was advised to do that.
Because some people say sugar helps feed these cancers and other sorts of things.
Sugar is deadly. I mean, sugar is basically a poison that
And
nobody
it's
should be eating.
everything we consume in our Western diets.
There's so
packed
much
with
sugar in it,
Right.
and carbs. If
Right.
you look at the old diet pyramid,
Right.
carbs are right at the top.
Yeah.
You got to get your carbs. Well, guess what? Carbs turn into glucose in the body, and you are not doing any cancer. Cancer just thrives on glucose.
Yeah, right.
So
We've had people in here talking about alkalinity and other sorts of things. There are some people say that if you have an alkaline metabolism, more alkaline water, more alkalinity in your thing, the cancer can't thrive in that situation. It maybe doesn't kill it, but you're trying to avoid helping it. You're trying to avoid slowing it down. You're trying to slow it down.
Right. You can't be eating burgers and fries every day. And so what I learned at the clinic is that all these different things, including the mental approach, getting your head straight. And what I say about that is that getting all those blockages that, whenever you might see someone, and I've been through 2 divorces, and just getting rid of that, forgiving the people,
letting go,
exactly. And it got to be very powerful. So this was 6.5 years ago.
So out of that practice, it maybe opened your eyes that maybe there's alternatives outside of traditional medicine, which is
right.
I'm not trying to slam traditional medicine. You got a broken valve in your heart. I want somebody to go in and operate on it. You got a broken leg, great. I don't have time for a vegan cure to my kidney failure or something here. But they tend to focus on procedures. We're going to cut something out, or pills to cover it up, to help you. Doesn't eliminate, cutting it out hopefully eliminates it. The pills are there to deal with it. And when you deal with chronic conditions, which more and more people are complaining of as we get older,
right?
Diabetes, high cholesterol, fibromyalgia people have, things that just never go, chronic pains, chronic conditions. These are things they just kind of shrug and go, I don't know, I'll give you a painkiller for it, but
right.
I can't stop it. Cancer certainly is one. I can't do anything for you. We can bomb it with radiation. It's like using a sledgehammer to get a sliver out. I can smash your whole body and maybe we'll get some of it. And sometimes that works. Sometimes it knocks it back. But what do you do other than that? Other than a pill and procedure, they got not much in that black bag. And that's been the complaint.
Yeah, it's...
They're not talking about diet. They're not talking about exercise. They're not talking about mental.
Right.
And they're certainly not looking to other theories of how your body works, like China with this idea of energy flowing through your body here.
Yeah, I know. It's always interesting when you go into an oncologist office and you see a bowl of candy sitting on the.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me? But I soon got to realize that it's a full, all-in commitment to getting yourself healthy again.
Right.
And
And seeing what'll work for your body.
right. And I mean, when I went to the clinic in Irvine and I met with my doctor there, her attitude was, we're going to make you cancer free. And she didn't care if it was stage 4 or whatever it was.
That's a pretty bold
Our-
claim. I mean,
our
again,
goal is to get you
all
you know.
disclosures here. That's nothing, there's traditional medical science is
Right.
not going to, the FDA is not going to say there's any cure for any of this stuff. We can knock it back, maybe put it into remission, maybe control it. But this idea of eliminating, which so many of these alternative therapies or therapists will urge you to believe, that's a bold claim. But in your
Yeah.
own life, you went from stage 4, I got a couple years to live. How many years ago was that?
Well, that was, they told me 2 to 5 years we could keep you alive. And that was 6.5 years ago now.
Half years ago. All right. So you can't say it worked, but you can only say, here's what it did for you. This
No,
is your story.
that's true. I'm still on that journey. It's something you've got to have a lot of resilience for. In fact, that's what I've named my book, is Resilience.
Resilience, okay.
I'm starting to write.
And it seems like there's a certain trial and error to it. Let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try this. Oh, that didn't
There
work.
is. Yeah, you're right. And that's kind of across the board, in terms of, but getting results. All I can talk about is the results that I've got. And for 6.5 years, for the most part, my quality of life has been excellent.
And when you go to your oncologist, what do they say? Is it in remission, or is it? Or they
No,
think
they don't tell me it's in remission. They just say,
lucky you.
actually, one of my oncologist, who I like my oncologist
Yeah.
because he will talk directly with my alternative MD.
Oh, okay, there you
and
go.
they will talk with one another.
Okay.
And which, so they're part of my team.
Right.
And he says, whatever you're doing, Brian, keep doing it.
Keep doing it. Keep going. Right.
So
Whether it's prayer or positive thought or better diet or something,
Right.
some other methodology here, keep it up because you're still alive.
well, I can one of the things that the clinic pointed out to me was that we have to go after the circulating tumor cells. And I go, what are those? And those says, well, those are, they're cancer cells that are floating around in your bloodstream. And when I talked to my oncologist about it, he said, basically, Brian, that's like looking for a grain of sand in the ocean.
Yeah, right.
And but at the clinic, they have a method using the RGC and the clinic in Greece of reducing down the circulating tumor cells. And I feel like if you're going to be cancer free, then getting rid of those circulating tumor cells is very important.
Otherwise, it'll just attach and grow, and
well,
it spreads how cancer spreads. And
Cancer looks for pathways around the body, and it will, particularly in the lymph system, and it will find a weakness in the body and attach itself there, and that's where your next tumor is going
and
to
that's
grow.
why I said that's when you know you're really in trouble, when it's suddenly you had, like a woman has breast
Right.
cancer, and suddenly it's in her under her
Right.
armpits or lymph nodes or other
Yeah.
things. It starts spreading and metastasizing, as they say. All right,
And-
all of that. I've kind of heard some of this before. I still trying to hear the connection. Once you got your mind open, how the heck did you find lighter and Chinese traditional medicine and his unique scientific approach to trying to not only release the blockages, but try and find the blockages and zero in on the problem faster, which is wild in and of itself. Yeah.
I met Leiter at a show, probably about 5 years ago now, I think.
2018.
2018. So 5-6 years ago we met, and I took a look at his system, and I was immediately intrigued. Being a software engineer,
Yeah.
I thought that's a pretty neat piece of software.
Yeah.
And so I started to go and see Leiter at his clinic, and as I became more and more knowledgeable about what he was doing. And I started going, I'm feeling really good. Every time I get this done, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling good. I have energy. I mean, this is...
And what he's doing is, to a layman, it's acupressure.
Acupressure, right.
So it's not pins, it's not invasive. It's the same principle as acupuncture, except you're getting this deep tissue. I would say you're getting a deep tissue massage out of it, if nothing else. Even if you think this is all hooey, you walk away with those knots. You feel those tension knots in there, which I think can't be good. They're pain points. You touch them and they hurt. Somehow he's loosening those muscles up, loosening those, whether it's the blood or the muscle or whatever it is, the nerves that are all twisted and tied up in there. Traditional thing would be your blood's flowing. He's saying your energy's flowing too.
Well, light defines pain where you didn't know you had pain.
Isn't that the truth?
I
He
mean,
literally goes in and
yeah.
starts touching things. I hadn't touched the back of my knee there, and
Right.
all of a sudden it's like,
Right.
ouch!
Yeah,
Why does that hurt?
and that's what's showing up on the chi analyzer, and he goes, okay, we saw that, and that's why I need to work right here to get that blockage out of there.
I'll tell you my quick story here. So I came in very skeptically, and I said, I'll try this thing. And he said, what's your problem? I said, you're the doctor. You tell me. You got the analyzer. I'm not gonna tell you so you can zero in. Tell me what the problem is. He says, okay. Usually people come and tell me what the problem is. I can find, but let me see. Let's look. He said, well, there's something wrong with your lung. Now, I've never smoked or anything else. I have what's called a lung nodule that had been growing, and it's a pain. It's like a pimple in your lung. Hurts like hell. And when I get more anxious, more stressed or whatever, it gets more, what would you call it, aggravated or something here, and it feels like you're having a heart attack. And I've been to the doctor a couple times. I had a CAT scan. They said, well, there's nothing we can do. We can't cut it out. There's nothing. You just hope it doesn't keep growing because it can turn into a real problem here. And it could become cancerous at some point or whatever.
Right.
As it's a growth. And he says, well, okay, I'm just telling you, you got a thing and with your lung, and let's start releasing the energy into your lung here. And something's cutting off the energy to your lung. And he starts touching these parts of my body that have nothing to do with my lung, my wrist, my arm, my elbow or something. And I'm like, ouch. And I said, well, that can't be good. I didn't know that when you get that kind of pain, that's not a good sign. And I keep going back and back. Pretty soon that pain's gone. Pretty soon my chest isn't throbbing. And I, honest to God, went back a year later for my physical, and I had another CAT scan. They said, well, we can't tell you, but it's not growing. In fact, it kind of shrunk a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, I can't prove that this is why, but I can tell you it was scaring the hell out of me before,
Right.
and suddenly it's not affecting me now. So did you magically make my little lung nodule shrink because you sent the energy into my lung here? You'd say yes.
Yes, we work on the lung-meridian, lung supports on the back, and to put the new energy
The
go
back,
to
yeah,
your
that was
lung.
where you
Yeah.
kept working on my back. All right, so you had the same experience I did. Did you start to say maybe there's something to this?
Oh yeah, I definitely did, and even to the point now where I help Leiter out with his business and trying to help to expand.
Yeah, you're
the
sitting on his
business.
board now. He's trying to
Yeah.
expand this
Yeah.
out of one clinic into get this technology worldwide, either by licensing it or opening up new clinics
Right,
and other sorts of
right.
things here.
It's part of. If you go with the principle, and I go with this principle all the time, is that if your body is ultra healthy, degenerative disease cannot exist in that healthy body.
Right. A
And
healthy
there's
environment. So that would fit
Right.
everything. You're putting healthy food in.
Right.
You're exercising. It's you've got a positive attitude. Whatever it is,
Right.
this is a thriving, healthy system here. You wouldn't think to find disease and problems. It would be hard for them to grow in a healthy garden. A weed to grow in a healthy garden.
Right. You just degenerative disease can't exist in a really healthy body, and that is what I'm aiming for.
Right.
And Tomii is just one part of, that whole destination that I'm trying to get to.
Where did you come up with the name Tomii? I'm always arguing you should throw that name out here. Tomii is a Japanese word, right?
Tomii in the Chinese is the pathway to health and the energy.
Oh, is that what it means? Okay.
Yeah, open your pathway to.
But it's
your
spelled.
health
It's
and
pronounced
energy.
Tomii, but it's spelled Tomii, like
Yeah.
Tomai. I want to say Tomai.
Yeah, in Chinese is 通向美丽和健康.
Oh,
your
well,
pathway
okay.
to health and
I
energy.
got that. So, all right, so that's what you call this system, and you've got the yin and the yang system in there. It's all this,
Balance.
what you think is balance, this fundamental principle of energy flowing in balance. Get your
Right.
body in balance.
Yep.
My late father was a big believer in balance. Not too much of this, not too much of that. Don't eat too much, don't drink too much. Everything in moderation. Balance, balance, balance. Don't get too stressed, don't get too lazy. He was always a big believer in balance. You're saying that the body in balance somehow is healthier and able to fend off or fight chronic conditions.
Yes, your life in balance. Yeah, balance is very important. Yin yang balance.
My
up
balance is
and down
completely,
balance.
my life is completely out of balance. I work too hard. I play too hard. I eat at the wrong times. I eat the wrong food because it's fast, and I throw it down, and I got to hurry up and go here. I'm always in a hurry, and I'm always stressed, and that's the modern condition.
Yeah,
That's modern man.
it is.
We don't have time to relax. We don't have time to eat healthy food. We're eating processed food. We're in a rush. We're constantly under stress. That's why heart disease is one of the top killers in the world. This is modern man you're talking about. And
Yeah.
you're trying to get me in balance?
Yeah, this is how
My whole
the
life's out of
Tomii
balance.
coming. Tomii's mission is to help the clients who are suffering from the chronic health issue to achieve the healthy balance in your life.
Well, I've been to your
Changing
clinic
people's
numerous
life.
times. Full disclosure, I'm a patient of yours. I'm a believer in this thing. I don't know what it is half the time, but it seems to work. And I've asked other people who come in and they say, I don't know what he does. He waves this magic wand. He tells me here's the problem. He touches some place that hurts like hell. He massages it. It feels better. And all of a sudden, I feel better. So is it just mind over matter? Are you just convincing us? Is this just a monkey in the back? You're waving this wand and this is all just to convince me that massage is good?
It's a scientific approach to the.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I tell you, the people who I've talked to that come through your clinic's up in Anaheim, mostly are desperate people. I've tried everything. I can't sleep. I can't eat. I've got this chronic pain. I've got this chronic condition. I've got cancer. I got something that everybody else says, this isn't going away. Your stomach, your heart, your lung, your something. I got a chronic condition that nobody has an answer for. And they come to you say, I've tried everything. I'll try this too. And so many of them stick with it and become believers. And again, you didn't make this up. It's been around for thousands of years. What you added to it was the ability to measure this unmeasurable energy and to translate that into a diagnosis. Here's the problem. Here's the blockage. Here's where I got to work. And the proof is you say, I think it's here, and then you touch them and they go, ow, I guess you found it. It's hard to express. I think my generation, I think Brian's generation, we're basically kind of in the same generation, I suspect here. Aging baby boomers, we don't want to end up like our parents, drugged out.
Right.
My mother and dad, they're later in life, 50 pills they're taking, and nobody's measuring what happens when you put this cocktail of pills together here. We want a better. We don't just want longer life. We want a better quality of life. So we're exercising more. We're more conscious of what we eat. Maybe we don't smoke or drink or other sorts of. Or we give that up as we get older or something here. All of those in a quest to somehow live not just a longer life, but a better life. And this idea of my doctor being the God who knows everything, I don't think people buy that anymore. And I'm sorry, doctors, but my parents, that's all they would say. They'd go ask their doctor, and if the doctor said, stand on your head, they would do it. And if he said, take this pill, they would take it. And they would never question it. Now we're saying, well, I don't know. Because suddenly I'm in charge of my own body. Suddenly I've got to decide what I'm going to do, what I feel comfortable with, what I'm willing to try. And you got nothing else. So what the heck? I got a chronic condition. What the heck? I'll try everything I got. If somebody told me cancer, I'll try everything. I'll go to a witch doctor. I'll go to anybody here. If it can bring me some relief, or if it can give me some hope or feeling that, you know, I have some control over this. Otherwise, what? You might as well just curl up in a ball and say, give up. Sounds like Brian didn't.
Yeah, that's a really important part of
Move
this.
the mic
though.
back a little closer to where you're at. You're drifting from us here.
You've got to make that commitment and go, I don't, my oldest son, we sat down and He said, Dad, you got the money in the bank, spend it.
Yeah.
You know, and he said, when you get through all that money and you're healthy, then we'll worry about that.
Well, talk to me then.
When the time comes.
Because that is one of the things that is not covered by insurance.
Correct.
All these alternative treatments. This is not something that your health plan is going to pay for. Although acupressure actually can get, there is a category for Medicare and stuff for that, but it's mostly just for pain relief, right? Like acupressure. But you're talking about actually thinking of it as really bringing your body into balance. Do you charge $1 million to do this, Leiter? I mean, what kind of costs are we looking at to have somebody come and get their chi analyzed?
We provide the free the chi analyzer and affordable, very affordable price.
Give us some idea. Give us some
Like
numbers.
about
there. $100 or something.
$80 for each visit.
Okay. All right. So I can handle that. And people come. You recommend they do it in a series of, if in the beginning do it in 10 or 12. You gotta come a whole bunch of times quickly.
Yeah,
to really,
most of our clients take the 12 visitor to get the best results.
and then it's a maintenance package after that. You come
Yeah,
once a week,
maintenance,
once a month, or whenever.
Yeah.
I don't know how I found you. Not sure I completely understand or believe all the thing about it, but I can tell you in my life, I keep coming back. There's something about it that works. And I think I agree with Brian. I think it's part of a holistic approach. You got to look at the whole thing: your mind, your
Right.
spirit, your body, your energy, your diet, your exercise, everything. You got to change your life if you're really going to fight these things, or not give in to these chronic conditions and suffer from them your whole life. Too many people do. They're just in pain all the time.
Right.
They're
Yep.
just tired all the time. They just are dealing with something that everybody else says there's no cure for it. Just accept it. And my generation's not going to accept these things. We're not going to, as the great Welsh poet said, Dylan Thomas, don't go quietly into the night.
Into the
Rage
night.
against the
Rage.
dying light.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly here. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Anything else you want to share? I know this is an amazing story. It's going to take people a while to wrap their head around. We're going to tell more of these stories. We're going to have more people come in and just share their experiences, how they found you, what they find they get out of it. And you can continue to explain, if you want, the science behind it. All I know is it's based on a 1,000-year tradition. You've just added a scientific tool to help identify these energy blockages and get to it quicker, right?
Yes.
Focus on find it and focus.
finding. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else I missed, Brian? I know you're a big believer in this. When I first met Dr. Chen, you had me talk to you, and you're like, "Oh, you got to try this."
Yeah, I'm a huge believer. It definitely. I went yesterday to see Leiter, and I felt so good afterwards.
I think part of it is, I always say to people, because I've had many people question this, and I say, well, okay, whether you think there's energy in your body or not, how would you like to have a nice deep tissue massage? Well, yeah, because aren't there pains and problems, Don't you want to release some of those knots, those tension knots, those muscle knots, those nerve blockages? Don't you want to find those and release those? Doesn't that make sense? Yeah. All right, well, take that, start with that, and then maybe you'll come to see if you believe there really is an energy flowing through your body, and that in addition to releasing the muscle tension, maybe you're releasing the energy to flow through your body better.
When
Because you'll feel something when you walk out. You'll feel that
Yeah.
relief of a deep
do.
tissue massage. Yeah.
One of the things I did was I did some research on the whole meridian system and how the Chinese came up with it. And I think it's in Shanghai, there's a book there that's 4,000 years old.
Wow.
That describes the meridian system
Yeah.
through the body.
They
This is not something that's just suddenly come along. This is something that is proven over millennium.
Right.
And
Now, again, you got full disclosure. If you went to the FDA or you looked this
Yeah.
up in Google or you
Yeah.
went to your doctor, they may or may not accept any. They've started to accept some tenets of this. Acupuncture and acupressure seem to be used for pain relief and some other things now, and certain of those Medicare and other places will reimburse you for those treatments, usually as pain relief. But you're saying it's much more than that. It's much more than just, it's not just replacing a pill. It might do that. it's actually helping restore the balance in your body.
Well, just the fact when you walk out and you feel so good,
Yeah.
that's the energy flowing in your body. That's your body feeling good.
I can't argue with you. I'm not sure I completely understand it, and I'm still enough of a Western thinker to have my doubts, but there's no doubt about it. You feel better when you walk out.
But we will, if a doctor gives us a pill, we'll pop the pill
Without a
without
thought.
even knowing what it's going to do to us.
Yeah, and then look at all the side effects. of
Look
some
at
of
all
these-
the side
Oh my
effects.
God, they're scary. Like on the TV, if this happens, you know, it might cause this, and stroke and everything else. And I'm like, oh my God.
And actually, that's one of the points with degenerative disease and the medicines that they have. Most of them seem to destroy the body's immune system. So even though you're just taking a drug that may block the causes, you're taking something
Or maybe
that,
not block the cause, but block the effect. It blocks the
effect.
pain.
I'm
Right,
sorry,
Yeah.
not the cause. You're right.
Right.
But in this case, your immune system is getting destroyed. That's your body's own mechanism to fight these degenerative diseases. And I've always said, if we just get out of the way of our own body and let it do its thing, you'll be amazed at what you can actually achieve.
Well, I thank you for your story. I thank you for your work. I know Dr. Chen's a very, you're actually just licensed as a massage therapist in the state of California, but you actually went to Chinese medicine school, right, to learn all this stuff.
Yeah.
Spent years relearning this.
Yeah, Humboldt Medical University.
Yeah. Well, fascinating stuff here. I hope you'll come back and tell us more, because we're all hungry for alternatives, whether we go to Mother's Market and look for herbs and or herbs and supplements and stuff, or whether we go eat vegan diets, or whether we're all looking for some other way to help our body and something more than a pill or procedure. That's what I want. I'll take it if that's all we got. You got to put a new lung in, go do it. But I hope I don't get to that point here. And so I think it's a combination of all that. It takes a team, takes a holistic
Right.
approach to your whole
Right.
body. And if you get yourself out of that mentality of just there's only one answer, it's either an operation or a pill, maybe there's something else. For thousands of years, the rest of the world's had other ideas. Why not take some of those things and try them? Okay, guys, amazing story. I look forward to more of these on the Tomii Healing. Tomii, I got to say Tomii right. Tomii. How do they reach you, Dr. Chen, if they want to find you?
714-998-0128.
And is there a website or anything?
Tomii, Tomii.us.
Tomii.us. All right. Well, it's one place to start. It's one alternative treatment that's been used for years, and you've just added a scientific approach to traditional healing methods. I appreciate you for coming in. Fascinated, and I'm a believer. I try it, so encourage others to do the same. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. If you're looking for some alternatives, this might be the show for you. Tomii Healing Hour. Right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.